Now then folks, how we doing? It's James, JT at the movies. I'm here in the cinema to watch The Flash, so I'll see you after the film. Let's hope it's not shit. Folks, it's the next day and I'm here to review The Flash. Guess what? It wasn't shit. Was it a perfect film? Absolutely not. No, it really wasn't a perfect film, but it was a good, fun film. I had a lot of fun with it. There was some great comedy in there. The action was really fun. It was great to see Michael Keaton back as Batman, and he did blend in really, really well with Ezra Miller's Flash. You know, there was a lot of sort of talk of, would it be sort of like chalk and cheese, and would the two universes mesh well together? And they did a really good job of blending it. The returning cast of characters are really good as well, with the likes of obviously Ben Affleck and Jeremy Irons, and of course Ezra Miller as well, playing the Flash. Ezra does a really good job with the character. I thought that they did well to play off themselves, because obviously they're playing not only the Barry Allen, the Flash that we know from over the years from Batman vs Superman and the Justice League movie and wherever else that the characters cameoed, but obviously now they're playing a younger version of themselves from the time travel aspect. And I want to touch, just when I mention time travel, on the plot of the film. As I've said in the banner above, I'm going to keep this review spoiler free, so you haven't to worry about me sort of dropping any sort of like, you know, third act sort of, you know, whatever might happen in the third act sort of thing, or anything that might or might not happen, because I'm just not gonna go down that road and let you enjoy it for yourselves in the cinemas. But the basic plot of the film is that Barry, whilst using his powers at the start of the film on a mission, discovers that he's actually able to run fast enough to go back in time. And he then decides that he's going to go back in time to try and save his mum from being killed. And this is against the advice of Ben Affleck's Bruce Wayne, who warns him that some problems aren't meant to be solved. Of course, Barry's stricken with grief from his mum's death, and his dad's in prison, and he's never likely going to be released for, you know, being accused of the murder of his mum, even though Barry and his dad both know that Barry's dad didn't do it. So he ignores Bruce's advice and he goes back in time and ends up sort of, to quote the memes, buggering the timeline up, and ends up in an alternate 2013 where he ends up having to team up with his younger self to try and right the wrongs, and along the way they have to meet up with that universe's Batman, played by Michael Keaton. And it's the same Batman from the 1989-1992 Tim Burton films. Keaton's brilliant, as I've mentioned. He really slips into it, just like he's never been away, really. And that's just lovely to see. And I thought there might be sort of a bit of an element of, you know, maybe that it wouldn't gel with this new sort of current version of the DC universe that we've got by taking a character from the DC universe of 30 years ago and dropping them in. But no, it really worked about as seamlessly as I think it could for the story. And as I think I've already said, the story was really fun. There was great action in it, and there was lots of heart, and that was the real curveball for me. Is there were some genuine moments where you felt for the characters and what they were going through and the emotional journey that they were going on, and it was handled really, really well. And I think that's praise to the director, Andy Muschietti, who, as of me recording this, has just been confirmed to be directing the next Batman film as part of James Gunn's DC reboot. So I'm really happy there, because it'll be definitely in safe hands. But yeah, the emotional side of things was handled really well. The biggest letdown in this film for me was the CGI. Now, you could argue that it was a creative choice to use the CG in the way that they did, but again, without going into spoilers, when they're sort of running through the Speed Force and they're, you know, sort of they're doing that sort of thing, the CGI is just a little bit too ropey, really, for a film of this magnitude and budget and scale. It kind of feels like they haven't fully rendered the effects in some places. Now, does it take you out of the movie entirely? For me, it didn't. I was sort of able to look past it enough and sort of still enjoy what was going on, and, you know, be sort of captivated by the story that was going on. But I can't say that it isn't off-putting to some degree. And that really is my sort of biggest gripe with it. There are a couple of other things that I could nitpick, but then I start getting into that spoiler territory, which I'm determined not to go. But yeah, on the whole, guys, I think Ezra Miller put in a really great performance as Barry Allen as the Flash. They were able to play off themselves incredibly well, because we've got, like I say, the new Barry that we've known for all this time, and he's matured somewhat. But then we've got this other Barry that's still a teenager and is quite obnoxious and jokey, and the way that they sort of play off each other works really quite well. You almost feel like you are watching two different people at times. And that is one of the things, though, where the CGI can let it down, as you can sometimes tell which one was the one that did the shot and then which one was the one that's done like the green screen to be superimposed later, because like it just doesn't quite blend 100% right, sort of thing. But the performance, I can't knock it. Ben Affleck, when he turns up, is, you know, it's typical Ben Affleck Batman. He's really good with what he has to do, and it's a shame we won't be seeing any more of him. But if this is what he has to go out on, I think it's a nice way for him to sign off for the character. Michael Keaton, like I say, was just brilliant. Slipped back into it perfectly. Sasha Calle as Supergirl was a really nice addition. It's a different iteration to Supergirl than what we've seen before, but I like what they did with her character. She wasn't in it all that much, but for what she was in it worked, and she was a nice addition. There was a lot of characters, as you'll have seen in the trailers and the posters and the promotional art in this film, but it didn't get bogged down with them. There was enough time spent with every character to make sure that they felt fleshed out enough for their sort of, you know, part of the story, which I liked as well, because often with big ensemble films, you know, you can sort of feel like, we'll take the original Justice League for argument's sake. It doesn't feel like, you know, Cyborg or The Flash or Aquaman are fully well-rounded in the original cut of that film, because they hadn't had their solo films yet. So, you know, it doesn't feel like that. Everybody feels like they've got a fair shot in it. Yeah, I really had a good time with this film. Is it groundbreaking? Is it gonna, you know, sort of sweep the box office and be hailed as the best ever? Absolutely not, but it is a fun and enjoyable time, and it is a decent movie, which is not something that can always be said for some of the latest DC efforts. So I'm really pleased to come out and give this a positive review. I might, in a few weeks, maybe do a spoiler review of the film. I'm thinking about going to see it again with some of the friends that wanted to see it that couldn't make the showing we went to last night. So I might do a follow-up spoiler video in a few weeks, or I might save it until I get the Blu-ray down the line. But I would say check it out. And for me, I'm going to give this film a 7 out of 10. So there we are, folks. That is my spoiler-free thoughts on The Flash, my ramblings, if you will. If you enjoyed the film, let me know what you enjoyed about it. Of course, be mindful of spoilers down below in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts, or if you're going to see it, let me know. Drop the video a thumbs up if you've enjoyed the video and you've enjoyed my ramblings as well. And most importantly, if you're not already subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing. It really helps the channel to grow, and I'd really appreciate it. And love to keep you around for future videos as well. Above all else, folks, happy watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.